Good morning. Oh my gosh, it is indeed a Monday, and we are so happy you are joining us here for the morning show. I'm Marshall Shore.
And I'm Melissa Farley. We're here at
the fabulous Arizona Center. And oh my gosh, what a crazy weekend it was here. I mean, there was the market going on downstairs.
Yeah.
All kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, it was a fun weekend. It was a kickoff for Phoenix Film Festival. Woo, yeah. So.
All right, lots of parties going on and people to see, things to do.
Isn't your life always one big party, Marshall?
So.
I feel like it is.
Oh, some days it feels like that. But, all right, so before we get going too far,
yes,
you know, we have a word of the day.
I know we do. It's my favorite thing. She said totally seriously.
Yeah, the look on your face really says otherwise.
Okay, what do we got?
All right, okay, so, all right. Ah, there we, and I'm like,
Put some muscle into it.
I know. All right. Oh, clack.
Clack.
Clack. A group hired to applaud at a performance. A group of servile flatterers. The senator seems to have a clack of influential supporters in the media who are willing to endorse his every move. Clack.
A clack click.
We need
click.
some clacks around here.
We do need some clacks.
Yeah.
I like that word.
So maybe we can incorporate some clack today as we keep talking.
Okay.
So
we'll see how many times we can say clack.
I know. I kind of wish. Too bad we don't have like a bird that falls down, like little Groucho Marx off in the corner. Waka waka waka.
We could just play a drinking game with you again. Every time I work in the word clack, you have to take a drink.
That's true. Although today it's just water, so I didn't get my Bosa coffee.
Uh-oh. You're going to be fizzling out in about 20 minutes then.
We shall see.
All right. Well, we've got a great show for you today, including a fabulous guest that we can't wait to introduce you to. So we're going to.
I'm kind of excited about it because.
Are you?
Yeah.
You're never excited, Marshall.
Well,
how rare.
Well, because it's like I know some people. It's like especially when you change a hair person. Mm-hmm. It's like how do you set yourself up for a positive experience instead of like. Not a haircut they gave me. What's going on?
Why did that happen?
Why did that happen?
Yeah.
And I think it's important to be able to go prepared.
If you couldn't tell, we're talking to somebody who does hair.
Oh yeah, yeah. We probably shouldn't. Yeah.
But
tease.
I'm the worst when I go get my hair done because, like, you know, they want you to know what you want, I think, usually. And I'm always like, I don't know. You're the expert. Like, make me look good. I trust you. Do whatever you want. And they always look at me like.
Because the problem with that is you're like, oh, but I didn't want that.
Well, I'll put parameters on it. Like, I'll be like, okay, good. No pixie cuts.
You know, actually, before we launch into this conversation, actually, we should have our guest on.
Okay.
So that way we
How dare I?
I know. So we can involve her in the discussion.
All right.
And so that way she can chastise you for that. Because I know
I'm so excited for that more than the word of the day, even. Thanks, Marshall.
That's right, as we're going to chastise Melissa in just a moment.
Oh, boy.
You want to be back for that. It'll be really good. We'll see you right back here, and we'll have our special guest on. Good morning and welcome back to the morning show on this magnificent Monday.
It's not the word I would use for this Monday, but it's a Monday.
Marvelous?
Yeah.
Maleficent.
Sure. There we go. That's closer to what I had in mind.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us and spending some time with us on your Monday. I'm Marshall Shore here on the morning show.
And I'm Melissa Farley. We're here at
the fabulous Arizona Center. And oh my gosh, we have such a cool guest on.
I've not seen you this excited for a guest in a long time.
Well, I'm excited, but it's like, you know, it's like so many people are now moving to the Valley, and getting a new hair person, and so I mean I've got friends like, oh well, who do you use? And so
Yeah.
and there's so many things that go into how to choose your hair person. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
And
let's
set yourself for success as you're like going, yeah, just do whatever you want.
don't be
but not that. Oh, too late.
don't be like me is what Marshall is trying to say. Don't
be like Melissa.
Yeah, don't be like me. So we have Kelly Marie Schwahn here from Schwahn Salon. Hi, how are you?
Morning. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'm so excited to be here with everyone today. And you're right, lots of people are moving here. So this is a really good opportunity to talk about hairdressing.
Yeah.
We're one of the top 3 things you look for when you move.
Is it?
Oh, I know. Completely.
Yeah. Dentist,
Yeah.
doctor, hairstylist.
Okay.
Top 3. So
Huh.
that's always scary. You know, change is scary. New doctors, dentists, and hairstylists is scary, right?
Right.
Have either of you guys ever experienced hair trauma?
Yeah. Yes. Have
Yeah.
you,
I
Marshall?
I would say
Have
self-induced.
Self-induced hair trauma.
Yeah.
It's still trauma. That's valid.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at Schwahn Salon, we really focus on the consultation with the client, which is what you kind of brought up of, I just want whatever. So it's really important for your stylist to spend time. You know, we ask our doctors to spend time with us with their consults, right? The hairstylist needs to do the same thing. So before we ever take a client into a service, we spend at bare minimum 15 minutes. We have a form we have them fill out. It's like going to the doctor's office with us.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so for us, consultations are our top priority because hair trauma is a thing. And we want to make sure we're setting ourselves up for success and the client's expectation and experience for success. So it allows us to navigate, you know, do whatever. Well, the hairdresser's responsibility is to say, what are my limits? No clippers. Okay, great, good to know. Nothing above here. Great, good to know. So some parameters really do help us with your consultation. The internet's also been an amazing thing for us, but it's also been a curse because it allows us to have lots of options, but some of them aren't even real. So us as us as hairdressers, we also have to navigate what's real, what's not. How can we set up the client's expectation?
Give me an example. Like, what do you mean it's not real?
A lot of people use filters.
Okay.
So you might show someone and their hair looks uber white. Well, that's a filter most of the time.
Okay.
That's not really an achievable thing unless it's natural like Marshall has.
Okay.
Right? So those things are very important for us to kind of set up the expectation of like today it might look like that and also in the picture, but tomorrow the odds are less likely, especially in Arizona. Our water's really harsh, really drying, really damaging, rough on blondes. So those are the things that are also important for the consult. What are you doing when you leave here? After you get this service, you know, what kind of products are you using? I know that can be really scary for clients because the internet bombards us with every product known to man and there's a new one every day.
That's better than all the others.
That's better than all the others from yesterday, right? And so being knowledgeable about product and aftercare, your curly. Arizona's terrible for curly hair. It's dry.
Oh, it's the worst. And then it's like now, and maybe you can tell me the truth about this because I don't know. But like I've started following all these people with curly hair because I was like, I feel like I'm doing this wrong, you know, because my hair gets really knotted, like really knotted really easy. And then all these curly people are like, never brush your hair, don't brush your hair. And I'm like, how do you not turn into dreadlocks? Like, I don't understand. And so there's all these different products out there that say like, oh, you just like with your fingers. And I've tried like 7 of them.
No results, right?
I'm still a knotted mess, you know? And so I think that's why I end up being low maintenance about it, because it's like, I don't feel like any of that. I guess I was like, I don't feel like any of this is real. Like, I don't know.
Fair.
Yeah.
What we do discuss with curly clients is always comb your hair in the shower with your conditioner. That's where you really want to get tangles and matting out, and it allows the conditioner to get in there and soak and start closing your cuticle. Because what happens is tangles are caused a lot by the cuticle being disrupted. So you've got fun fantasy colored hair, as I would call it. you have to lighten the hair to get there.
Yep.
So that really disrupts the cuticles. So no matter if it's curly or straight, it's going to be tangly.
Yeah.
It's just part of the process. So finding good deep treatments is usually what I suggest, is like at least once a week, do a deep treatment.
Okay.
And that way you're really getting some nourishment in there, and then trims.
Yeah.
I know it's hard when you got curls, because like this much really is like this much for curls. They like spring up, right? So finding someone you trust to just keep it managed will help.
Yeah.
But that's a very valid question. A lot of clients have that in our consultations. So
I forgot about it. Yeah, I remember when I was little, like younger, my mom took me to get my hair cut and I asked for a trim. And yeah, it would, like when it was wet, you know, it still looked pretty long. And then it like bounced up and it was like here when it was dried. I was like, oh my God.
hair trauma.
Yeah.
Hair trauma, right? So consultations are super important. If your stylist isn't going to spend time with you, I would absolutely go look for another salon.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Especially if you're new. You're building a trusting relationship with someone. So say Melissa was my client for, 4 or 5 visits and said, do whatever you want. At that point, I feel as a stylist, I feel confident of, I do have my parameters. I know what you're open to. I can be more creative and outside my box. But the first time for us might be a little scary for us as service providers, because we need boundaries.
Yeah.
We need boundaries.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your salon and kind of why, I mean, I know you do the 15-minute consultations, but like you said, you are so slam, like people are just seeking you out. Like what is so special about Schwahn Salon?
Well, I've been doing this 23 years now, and I found that there's a lot of hair trauma in Arizona, sadly. And so I found spending time with people and really allowing them to be heard. And letting them know that there's somewhere where somebody's going to care about them has really been the thing I think that sets us apart, is that we will take the time for people. And we're usually booked 5 to 6 weeks out. I know that's frustrating when somebody's moving. They want to get in, they want to start their appointments, but in my opinion, it's worth the wait with us if you really do want to feel like you matter. And that we care.
Yeah.
And that we're actually here for you. We're not here to take advantage of you. We're not here to sell you stuff. We do have stuff to sell you, but that's not really what it's about. It's actually about us building a relationship and loving on our community.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand, to me, our job is community service. We're here to serve our community. That's our job.
Yeah.
But we get lost in some of the other parts of it too, the beauty part of it. But we're here to love on people, truly.
I love that. Yeah, I really love that. That's really cool. Okay, I'm going to ask you the question that I got yelled at for the first time in my life, I think 3 years ago, because I just didn't know. Well, I just didn't know. Box dye.
Oh, yes. What about box dye? Do you want to know?
Yeah. like literally when I went to a first like real stylist, and not like Supercuts or something like that, she had this like really long conversation with me about box dye. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what's your feelings about box dye?
So I know that we're all in different spaces and different places during different periods of time. COVID was one of those really weird times where a lot of clients were shut off from their providers. And so people do want to feel good about themselves. So that was a decision people made. And is it good or is it bad? It is just that. It's a decision.
Yeah.
When going in, it is important for us to know whether or not you've done that, because if you're wanting to make a significant change, there are a lot of hurdles we run into. And so it is our job to try and communicate, these are the hurdles we're going to run into, these are the challenges, what's more important, your hair health or getting you there.
Right.
If you want to get there, okay, great, here's our journey.
Yeah.
But is your health a priority? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Some people are like, nope, fry it off.
Yeah.
I just want to be this. You're like, okay, I will try to not fry it off as best I can. But trying our best to educate the client on what are we going to run into, because if you went from really dark black and you want to go to blonde, like in general, that's a journey. That's just not a snap of the finger, sadly.
And I didn't know that. Like because I have naturally dark hair, when I went pink, I thought I was going to go in and like same day walk out pink. That was not like the stylist that I worked with. Like it was a multi-visit process, and it was for that reason.
Yep.
She was trying to be as mindful about the health of my hair.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's the important part. Yeah. Especially curls.
Yeah.
Curls have a harder time being lightened than straight hair.
Yeah.
Because the hair shape is very different and it stretches out the curl. And curly clients don't want to lose their curls usually. There are some that are like, yeah, loosen my curl, that's fine, go for it. But people love their curl nowadays and they want to embrace it, and to ruin it just so you can get there is not always the right answer.
And I think that's interesting too, because I got, when I was younger, there was a stage where like wavy hair was really in style. And I had like, for a long time, I had like Shirley Temple like curls. And I went in and I asked for this certain kind of perm to get wavy hair, and then my curls never came back the same ever. And it's like, how heartbreaking is that? Like, you don't know that you're making that kind of long-term decision, you know, by like, I want a temporary wave.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, nice curls.
So my self-induced hair trauma was I'm waiting too long for a haircut and taking matters into my own hands.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about what was that journey like for you?
It was shorter than when I started, and then going to finally then getting to see somebody who could correct it and getting chastised.
Yeah.
Because it was like, don't ever do that again. So.
Do you remember the Sun-In days when everyone was using Sun-In?
Sun-In has been a long time thing in the world. It shouldn't exist, but somehow it always pops up.
I so wanted it to work. I turned like an orangey color.
Everybody turns orange.
Yeah. Yeah.
The truth about that is it's basically hydrogen peroxide in a spray bottle.
Okay.
So, you know, have you ever put that on and your skin changes a little more white?
Yeah.
That's kind of what it's doing, but it's not strong enough to do much. Just enough to just disrupt your hair.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Would be nice if people told you that, but you know, it is what it is.
Okay, so how big is your salon? How many people do you have working with you?
We are a tiny little mom and pop shop. My husband's the receptionist, and
He is?
He is.
I used to know her husband. I haven't seen him in a long time.
Yeah, so he's the meter and the greeter. Everybody
cool.
loves him on the phone. I mean, he's got over 30 years customer service experience. So he's the first thing you interact with, whether it's the door or on the phone, which is amazing. And right now we have 2 full-time service providers. We're getting a third ready to go.
Okay.
And then I offer an apprenticeship program. So I have an apprentice about to go on the floor and start building her business here in a couple months.
Cool.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, that's really amazing.
So we're a small shop. I'm not trying to be a mega salon.
Yeah.
I really do want to keep it small and intimate and family-friendly feeling. I don't want to be a big shop. I feel like it takes away from what we're doing.
Are you accepting new clients?
I personally am not accepting new clients, but my staff is right now.
Okay.
My books are very, very booked, and I had to close them in January this year. So
Wow, good for you. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
Okay, so you won't necessarily get her as your stylist, but if you did want to come to the salon, can you share how people can contact?
Yeah, you can contact us on our website, schwahnsalon.com. You can contact us on Yelp. You can contact us through email, schwahnsalon@gmail. You can call us at 602-705-3035. My stylists are all trained under me, so they have a lot of experience and knowledge that I've passed on to them, which is nice.
That's so cool. Okay, and last question before I let you go, because this is something I've been debating for a while. Do you do extensions at the salon, or is that not something that you all
that's a great
handle?
question.
Yeah.
We do offer extension services.
Ooh, okay.
There's so many different options. We've got do-at-home options. We've got what we would call like a semi-permanent option where they're installed, you come back for maintenance kind of thing. One of the things we offer is actually what I'm wearing. It's called a fall. So this is actually not my hair.
No way.
No way. Yeah, I actually have a mullet right now. So this
Okay, I saw the picture.
Yeah,
and
right now
like,
I actually have a mullet.
Okay.
So this is one of those things where I can change my look
Yeah.
Really, really simply, I'd happily take it off for you if you guys wanted. But you can change your look. You can hide things that are going on. For me, extensions are a way of building people's self-confidence back. A lot of people have had hair loss from medical or
Well, and
stress.
that's one of the things I went. It's like I've got a friend who is just finishing chemo.
Oh, yeah.
And now her hair, which has been kind of a point of pride for her, is changing.
Yeah.
Thinning, and so she's like, oh, what do I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she has just gone and had a custom wig
Oh, good.
done.
That's
So
beautiful.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of options. We offer some of the options. We don't have the ability at this time to offer some of the more customizable things where people are actually able to fill in the top and sew in things through the top. Technology is changing though, where we're getting closer to actually putting on individual hairs so that it looks very natural and organic and not wig-like. But there's still a long way to go, and it has been amazing in 23 years to watch where they started and where they're going. And it's just getting better.
Yeah.
Just being able to keep them invisible for people is getting better.
Yeah.
The education for the stylists that's available now is so much more accessible than
Yeah.
it used to be. So extensions are one of our favorite things to offer because even if you have short hair, that doesn't mean you can't have full or short hair.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's something that I think I would go to an expert next time. So when I was younger in my 20s, I used to wear extensions a lot, but I would just do the clip-ins, and I
Yeah.
got bald spots from the
Yes.
clip-ins. So so I was like, well, I'm not doing that again. And then I had been thinking about doing extensions again, because you see stuff like on Instagram that you can order or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I went to this conference and I saw all these women wearing those kinds of extensions, but you could like tell. Like you could see it, and I was like, well, I don't want that. So yeah, I was just curious. I was like, could I come to your salon and have somebody do it for real?
Yeah, there's a lot of options. Companies now are catering to the curly clients, which is great. We've always had to custom perm them to try and match curl patterns. So it's really exciting that some brands now have taken the time to actually create that for us to take the stress off of us behind the chair. And because it's a lot to try and match someone's curl. If you have options, much easier to match. But
cool.
yeah, pretty much anything's an option nowadays. It's amazing where we've gone in several years. So
Ooh, well, that's exciting. Yeah, I'm thrilled about that.
Yeah.
Okay, one more time, talk right at the camera, let them know how to contact you.
You can contact us at schwahnsalon.com. I'll spell that for you, SCHWAHN salon.com. You can reach us on our email, schwahnsalon@gmail.com, or phone by 602-705-3035.
Great call on spelling that. Yeah. And thank you so much for being in the studio with us today. We're going to take a quick break. I was going to say, what was I going to say?
A quick brat? You mean one of those little dolls with the big googly eyes?
Yeah. We'll be right back after this break with our shenanigans.
And good morning. Welcome to the morning show. I'm Marshall Shore.
And I'm Melissa Farley. We're here at the
Fabulous Arizona Center. And we've got a great little tip in on March 31st for International Transgender Day of Visibility.
There you go.
Okay. I know, we should just have a little acronym, but
I know. Well,
yeah.
it's a mouthful, but it's an important day, and it's
is.
especially important that we recognize it and that we raise awareness about it. And we have Tamara here to help us do just that.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks you so much for joining us. So you are a business owner, and you have created some of the most stunning pens I have ever seen in my life. These are incredible.
Well, thank you for the compliment. I really appreciate it. Yeah, they're all handmade by me. I have a company. It's called WRYT365, WRYT365, and there's a story behind the name and how it came about. But anyway, every one of these is made by hand. I use woods and resins. I mix my own. A lot of mixed media. I have a couple I'm super proud of that I'm not sure if anyone else makes the styles. But yeah, this has become my passion.
Wow.
Become my passion.
So talk to us a little bit about the process. What goes into making like this is artwork, like this is beautiful.
Yeah, I kind of consider it industrial art. You know, everything starts out as a block of wood or a block of resin, so a bar of resin, there's a block of wood.
Oh, so this is
and
like
so
the beginning?
This is what, and eventually I turn into something like this as a pen.
Wow.
And so I do that on my wood lathe, which I think I have a picture of it right here. But anyway, this is my lathe, and it's just a machine that spins, has a motor on one side, and you chuck in, you put your piece right in the middle, and then it spins super fast, and then you just turn it down into shape. And I use these tools, which are my lathe tools or my lathe chisels. So I have a couple different varieties of them. They serve different purposes, but the goal is to get them into the right shape. You know, some of these obviously have like straight sides, some of them are resin, some are woods. My fountain pens, I like to put a little decoration on them. They've got little finials and stuff, so a little flair to those, and all of that is shaped by hand.
How long does that take you to make one of these?
You know, it's a loaded question because it really depends on which one. So, for example, something like this, which is has a cholla cactus with an inlaid. I don't know if you can see it here.
Yeah, the turquoise.
Yeah,
it's
and then
got
the turquoise.
That's
real
stunning.
turquoise inlay in it, and you know, this will take several days. It's a process. You know, there's a lot of curing of the glue or of the acrylic
And you
resin.
can't get much more Arizona
And-
than that.
No,
I
it's
mean,
just
the
desert
cholla
right
with
here.
Yeah.
the Kim and turquoise
This
and
is
everything.
absolutely
so, yeah.
the desert, and then I also do those cholla with different colored resins. So here's a red one, and different styles, click pens, etc. Now, something like these fountain pens, they may take a full day. Sometimes even longer, just depends on how intricate, what type of shape, whether it has a clip on it or not. There's a lot of different things that go into the process of making these. So, you know, and then the price varies based on that. I do all kinds of...
Well, and there, I see some pens over here
Yeah.
that don't look like the others.
Yeah. So I have a few styles that I'm really proud of. I don't know if anyone else makes these. I love these. So I make some pens using recovery coins. So 12-step recovery, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous.
Nice.
A lot of people celebrate their sobriety with coins, you know, to mark the occasion. And I'm personally sober over 9 years from alcohol, and so this was a big part of my recovery, was actually making pens. It was part of my kind of getting back into knowing myself. A meditative type of an experience. But so these are real coins that I take and I machine down, and then I wrap them around a tube. And here's a coin that's
How
not in
freaking
the resin
cool.
yet. So I cast into clear resin. It comes out like a rectangular block. I put it on my lathe and I spin it down. I spin it around. I do all the sanding and polishing. And so I've done everything from the 24-hour. You know, I have just today, this is my celebrate. I did this one, was for a dear friend who's sober 35 years.
Wow.
This is a 35-year
Congratulations
coin.
on
Yeah,
that.
huge
This was an
That's
extra that I
huge.
made just in case I screwed up the first one. So now I use it as a display.
Got a backup. How did this become your thing?
Well, I mentioned getting sober. Well, so before that, I really thought that this was going to be a gateway into making wooden bowls and plates and vases.
Yeah.
Like, I've been a woodworker all my life, sort of amateur.
Okay.
I've always loved wood grains and colors and the swirls of the patterns and in burls. Anyway, had always wanted to make bowls and plates. So I don't know, 12 years ago or so, I saw a demonstration of pens and I thought, this is my gateway into, like, this is how I'll learn. I'll do the easy stuff first, and then I'll just, in a week or two, then I'll start making bowls.
Yeah.
Well, that's not what happened. The first pens were horrible. It took me 3 attempts to even get the ink to go in and out. I mean, I just messed it up. So I followed some instructions, took a class, and I started making them. Well, fast forward a couple of years, and I wasn't very good at it yet. And I got sober, and I needed something to occupy my mind, and really this became part of that meditative focus. I
Yeah.
could put my attention to it, my creativity to it. Well, also part of the recovery process, whether it's mental health or addiction, a lot of that recovery involves journaling or writing,
Right.
you know, about fears and resentments and desires. And so I started writing a lot. You know, I
Yeah.
started journaling a lot, and I wanted a pen that was mine. Like,
love
I
that.
wanted something that when I wrote my thoughts down, it was personal.
Right.
Like, more than just, you know, I mean, I love pens. I've always loved pens, but not in the same way I do today.
Yeah.
And so I started making them, and I have friends who would ask, hey, can you make one for me? And I'm like, okay. And then, all of a sudden I had 30 pens. I'm like, what am I going to do with these? And I'm like, I'm going to start charging you. That's how the business was born, from
Nice.
just a hobby into more of a hobby business.
Yeah.
And so today, over the years, the last 9 years, I've just really expanded my techniques. Every single thing you see on here took years to figure out, many mistakes and errors, and that's all part of the growing process.
That's the
for
best
me.
way to learn.
So
Yeah.
I love taking a challenge and saying, I don't know if I can do that, but I'm going to try. I'm
Yeah.
going to try.
Well, I think it's fascinating because, so my husband actually loves collecting, he loves fountain pens and kind of very rare, unique pens, so he would absolutely love your work. I'm absolutely going to share this with him.
Excellent.
But maybe talk a little bit about, you said when you did this for yourself, you wanted something that was yours, that you had created, but why would somebody else, maybe instead of going to buy a pack of pens at Walgreens, why invest your money into something like this?
Yeah, and I look at fancy pens or expensive pens the same way people look at jewelry, or the same way they look at cars. You can buy a Hyundai, you can buy a BMW. It's sort of along the lines of, what do I want that fits my personality?
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. They also make great gifts. I can do, I do digital images, I do laser engraving and monograms, and I make these custom boxes like you see out on the table here. So I've made pens for
The boxes are really cool, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
I love those.
And I can engrave any messages on them. I made one recently for a friend whose friend was having a bat mitzvah, and so I engraved, and so I can make them very personalized, especially for gifts. So people love it around the holidays. Especially,
so people can
Yeah.
custom order,
They can
say,
custom
here's
order.
what I
Yeah.
would like.
Absolutely. And I can mix my own
Wow,
custom
that's
colors.
really cool.
So if someone wants a specific color or pattern or anything like that, that's what I do. These resins I've mixed myself. Of course, Transgender Day of Visibility, I've got my trans colored pen.
Yeah.
Indeed,
So I
yeah.
had to bring these in.
We've got another- yep.
Here's another one down here.
And then this one is Pride. We've got rainbow
We've got a general
colors.
pride. We've got non-binary colors for non-binary pride.
Nice.
And so I can mix any of those colors. Also, I've got some general pride barcode. I don't know if you can see that. And in a pride colored American flag. So all of these are digital images that I've created and then made into these pens. So again, huge variety for people who want something very specific.
Yes, I love that. Okay, so what a perfect way to celebrate International Transgender Day of Visibility by supporting a transgender business owner. Oh my goodness, this is what a perfect gift to give someone for any occasion or any sort of celebration. So we want you to look right into camera, that's your camera right there, and tell people how they find you, how they can get a pen from you.
Absolutely. My website, I have all of my items on my website, on my web store. It's WRYT365.com, WRYT365. And that stands for Write Your Truth Every Day. That's the backstory of
Love it.
yeah, so
nice.
Write365. So you can message me through there. I'm also on Instagram at Write365 Custom Pens, and on Facebook. Also, I'm actually in a store. I have a few shelves in a store right up the street. It's called Retail Therapy AZ. It's in the convention center.
Yeah.
Right across
yeah.
from the hotel entrance there. And so I have like some of my desert,
Yeah.
Choya
Very cool.
pens and stuff. People love souvenirs from
Yes.
Arizona, right?
Yeah.
And so, but anyway, so that's the best way to reach me. I'm available via email, and direct links are on my website.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your stunning craftswork with us. I mean, this is really impressive. I can't think of a better gift for anybody who loves to journal or wants something that's, like you said, sort of special to just, journal
Right.
and write your thoughts with. We so hope that you are celebrating today and taking today to recognize International Transgender Day of Visibility. If you want to learn more about that, we'll have some information on our site as well. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the rest of our show.
Hello and good morning, and welcome back on this Monday morning here to the morning show. I'm Marshall Shore.
And I'm Melissa Farley. We're here at
The fabulous Arizona Center, and so excited that you are joining us today for I mean, Kelly was great. That was so much fun.
Kelly's always great.
Yeah.
I have my cord here, and I keep thinking it's a rogue hair, and I keep like swatting it. Whack.
Well, that's like the other day I wore something with a high collar, and so even when I would look on camera, it's like I could see it like sticking out, and I kept thinking it was hair, and I'm like, oh no, it's that thing.
I know. It's
So,
weird. Sorry.
Yeah. See, well, I mean, when she said it's like, you know, when you're moving to a new place, it's like dentist, doctor, hair person.
Yeah.
And so, and it really, I mean, those were the big concerns when I moved here. I was like, oh my gosh.
I never thought. I mean, maybe because I've never moved, but I mean, I've moved, but like always,
right.
you know, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I've just always been super low maintenance about my hair. So I think because I just always thought it was such a lost cause.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like, I mean, right, this is the first time probably of maybe just a handful that you've seen me with, like, just letting it be curly,
Right.
you know? And that's because when I let it, it's so heavy. So, like, yeah, it's curly, but then, like, it kind of gets weighed down, and then I just feel like it's not like a pretty curl. It's just kind of a, I don't know. But anyway, maybe Kelly can inspire me to actually care about my hair.
Exactly.
My hair again.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else can you inspire me with? Some history, Marshall?
I was going to say, I can inspire you with something else completely different than hair.
Let's do it.
All right, so a lot of times when we're talking history, we talk about 1800s.
Yep.
So today we're going to talk about 1998.
Well.
So probably you might even remember 1998.
I think I do. Yeah.
So on this date, back in 1998, the Diamondbacks celebrated their very first regular season game in their franchise history in front of 50,000 people down at Bank One Ballpark, which is now Chase Field. It was to the Colorado. I didn't write Colorado what?
Rockies.
Yeah.
I
was like, I think it's
I
Rockies.
knew that one.
So yeah, they did lose to the Rockies on that very first game, but then they've rebounded, winning a World Series, and there you go.
So my elementary school that I went to, our mascot, even before the baseball team, was the Diamondbacks. And so when they became the Diamondbacks, we had this whole special ceremony where they came out and yeah, it was really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So and I thought it was actually kind of really perfect to bring that up because we're right in the middle of spring training.
Good old spring
training.
training.
I mean, there's so many games going across the valley.
I actually used to enjoy spring training games because they're kind of more. They feel different, you know.
Oh, they're very laid back. I mean, even the stadium is different and much more old school.
I know.
So,
I know. Well, I don't know if you'll want to. It's starting to get hot already. Is the problem?
You know, but they sell beer.
Well, beer makes everything better.
It does indeed.
Okay, so. Celebrating a little bit of spring training today. What else are we celebrating?
Oh my gosh, celebrations! All right, so just think the first day of school, you have all your new supplies. And there's one box you open up and just kind of take a deep inhale of that smell.
Crayons.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so today we celebrate crayons.
Oh, fun.
And it all stems, and I didn't realize it was wax and chalk is what crayons are.
Yeah.
And basically created by a company that was just trying to figure out how to sell more paint and pigment to schools.
Have you ever made your own crayons?
No.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah. Yeah, you can make your own crayons. That's a good time because you can do the swirl thing where they're kind of different colors.
Oh, yeah, so that when you color it's like a rainbow.
Yeah. How cool though, because my friend's birthday is tomorrow, and the gift that I got her, it's like a color your own inspirational deck, and I gave her like a little pack of crayons to go with it. So that's fun. Yeah.
Very cool. As well as it's also National Tater Day.
Taters.
Taters.
I love taters.
Because who doesn't love, it's like potatoes are so versatile. You can fry them in long sticks. Some may call them French fries.
That would be the longest French fry ever.
Well, or
also
you
slightly
can,
inappropriate.
or you can slice them and lay them in a skillet and just kind of let them brown.
You can mash them.
You can mash them, throw some cheese in them, and cheesy potatoes. There's so many ways you can enjoy. Did you realize there were over 200 different types of potatoes here in the U.S.?
I did not know that. No.
I was kind of like, wow.
That's a lot of potato variety.
I know, and I'm sure they're all different and better used for some things. And I still just stick with I like the red potatoes are kind of my favorite.
Okay.
Okay, so mashed potato wise, are you peel them first before you mash potatoes, or do you leave the peels on?
No, I peel them first. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
See, I grew up, you don't peel them, so that way you get the.
No, I don't like that.
Well, see, then I guess.
Nope, I'm a peeler. Yeah. But it's funny, so Charlie, I actually really like mashed potatoes. Like, they're kind of a weird, like, obsession. I probably have mashed potatoes once a week. And
why is that weird? Because mashed potatoes are really good.
I don't know, I love them. But Charlie, my dog, loves potatoes. I don't give him that much, but now we have this thing called tater time. So like if I have some mashed potatoes, he gets to have a little bit of mashed potatoes too, because I feed him off of a fork. And so whenever I go, it's tater time, he gets really excited and like dances. So
and understandable.
So we'll have to celebrate for Tater Day.
Exactly, we'll have to have some tater time on Tater Day.
Yeah. Oh, he'll be thrilled.
Yeah, I can see the excitement already. And then today is Eiffel Tower Day.
Ooh.
Because on this date back in 1889, that iconic monument opened its doors overlooking Paris.
That's cool.
And you can still get in it today and take an elevator up and enjoy the view.
You can have a picnic down below and enjoy it light up at night.
There's so many ways. And it is such a beautiful sight.
I will say they've fenced off a lot of areas around the Eiffel Tower ever since the Olympics. So you can't roam kind of as freely as you used to be able to.
Okay.
Yeah. We were surprised by that when we went recently.
Oh.
Yeah. But it's still, I mean, there's still great places to hang out. Yeah.
And then also today is also the International Transgender Day of Visibility, dedicated to celebrating transgendered people and raising awareness of discrimination that they face worldwide. And I always love to kind of throw out into this mix, especially for Transgender Day of Visibility, the trans flag that is based on was designed right here back in 1999 in Phoenix. Yeah.
Very cool.
And so.
Yeah.
And that original flag that Monica created is now sitting in the Smithsonian Museum as we speak.
That's awesome.
So.
Yeah, I work with a legal organization, and they do a lot of cases for transgendered individuals, and I actually have a really cool shirt from them that says "Save Trans Lives," and then
nice.
Trans rights are human rights, and so yeah, today's a really great day to recognize that. So.
It is indeed. So besides celebrating trans rights, what are some other things we can do? I have a feeling there might be some trivia.
Maybe.
Maybe some bingo.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I think we're about to find out.
All right, so first up in that spring spirit, we've got 2025 Spring Fest is happening and back at the Beardsley Park Recreation Center in Sun City tonight at 7 p.m. Here is where the cover band Rock Roulette is going to perform. Yeah, they are a high-energy tribute band that takes you on a non-stop musical journey featuring the most memorable of classic rock eras. So it's going to be a good time. Gates open at 5. The show starts at 7, and it's $22 to come to the concert.
Well, and I love it's almost you think it's like, do they have like a big wheel they spin, and that's how they know what they're going to play next?
That would be fun.
It's like, okay.
They need your Easley wheel.
Oh, they do
The
indeed.
Easley Wheel of Wonder.
Yeah.
Okay, we've also got Spring Splatter. It's a ceramic paint party at Throne Brewing in Glendale at 6 p.m. So basically, you can come on down, hang out in a really fun atmosphere where you can create some unique art with your own personal touch. It's going to be ceramic painting, so exactly what it sounds like. There's objects and things that you can paint. Prices range depending on what you pick, so like anywhere from $6 to $45. And it is from 6 to 9 p.m. tonight.
You could paint your own deviled egg platter.
You could.
Wow.
And seeing as how much I love deviled eggs, that feels like a pretty
I
good
know. I'm
choice
like, that's
for
actually
me.
a really good idea because it's getting to be that season.
Yeah. Okay, we're keeping it crafty here with a pour your own epoxy at Pinnacle Brewing Company in Scottsdale. This is kicking off at 6 p.m. So this is a hands-on workshop where you'll craft your own epoxy river charcuterie board or a lazy Susan. The boards are black walnut, and then they can feature other fine hardwoods, and then you basically accent them with an epoxy of your choice. And then after the class, your project undergoes the finishing process. It takes about 5 weeks, so you won't be able to pick it up until later. So they sit and they cure, and then basically once it's done, they'll ship it to you. So you don't have to go back and get it. They'll just send it right to you, and that way they make sure it arrives in pristine, perfect condition, just the way you left it. And that is going on tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. Now this one's a little bit more expensive, probably because of the high quality product that you're working with.
Right.
So starts at about $140, and then depending on what you pick, could go up to around $200. So we've got something that I just did over the last weekend, the weekend before. We have a meditation and sound healing with Nova at Optum Arcadia in Scottsdale at 2 p.m. I did not do it there. I did it at a different location. But this class is all about calming the mind and the body. It's welcoming you into a very tranquil and peaceful place. You'll learn how to become mentally ready to take on challenges of the day, and you'll basically hopefully feel more balanced. And so this is from 2 to 3 p.m. and you just sign up in person when you come to Optum Arcadia. Okay. No bingo, no trivia, but we do have karaoke. Monday night
I didn't
karaoke.
realize that needs to be thrown in that rotation as well, because it seems to be popping up an awful lot.
Yeah, well, I think it's because I mentioned that I still haven't done karaoke.
Right,
so
and
Dylan's
so he's trying to bait you.
Here's
and
all
like,
these opportunities, for
here
karaoke.
it's on your front lawn, so there's no way you can escape it now.
This is over at Easy Tiger. And it's going to be with DJ Snow. There is no cover. It's from 9 p.m. to, get this, Marshall, 1 a.m. You could literally karaoke all night long. I know.
That would be, it's like...
It's a 21 plus event.
Keep falling on my head.
Okay, we've got a bonus event. This was sent in by a viewer, Lily Benson. This is the Just Be Funny ASU Capstone Film Fundraiser at Snakes and Latte in Tempe. It's at 5 p.m. So basically, they are trying to raise funds for their upcoming ASU Capstone film. It's all about bringing community together, really, and it's just a fun night of laughter, friendly competition, and board games. And so they really just would love your help in supporting their film. It's from 5 to 10. All ages are welcome, and that's at Snakes and Lattes in Tempe, which we've talked about before.
Indeed, as well. I had some of the folks doing some of their capstones here talking about that.
That was
process.
not one of the ones we've talked about.
No, I was going to say, I don't remember that one, but I was like, but at least knowing what that is.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, how cool is that?
Yeah, so for those that aren't familiar, at ASU Film School, they, as seniors, have to create basically a film to show as their capstone project. And so I think fundraising, which is interesting, is part of that process. ASU doesn't pay for the film to get made. They have to figure out how to fund their own film. So.
Indeed. So what are some other things we could be doing?
You mean like celebrating a birthday
and
or two?
You were reading my mind. great day, everyone has come to see you. Make a wish and hope it comes true. All right, so birthday-wise, so back in 1927 on this date in Yuma, Cesar Chavez was born.
Yeah.
So he co-founded the United Farm Workers Union and fought for the rights of agricultural workers through nonviolent means. Basically, when he was growing up, his family lost their farm in the Depression, and basically forcing them to become migrant farm workers. And then he grew to learn and figure out how to organize those folks.
A very important person here. Yeah.
Indeed. So it's a holiday, so some folks may even have the day off because of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy your day off.
And hopefully you're spending it with us. So
Yeah.
there you go. And also, if you ever remember watching a show about a family of musicians that had a school bus that was Mondrian painted, the Partridge Family.
The Partridge. I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
But Shirley Jones,
Oh,
it is
yeah.
her birthday. She is turning 90.
Mama Partridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she basically got her first debut in a movie that was filmed here in Arizona, Oklahoma. Exactly,
Yeah.
based on the Broadway musical that launched her career, and then she became Partridge Family. I didn't realize it only ran for 4 years, from 1970 to 1974.
You know, there's a lot of those old shows that only have like 2 or 3 seasons. But you know what it is? It's like they would do like 38 episodes.
Well, right, and they would do so many, and now they just kind of like are just played on so many stations because
Yeah.
it seems so many people have like the rights to like season 1 or season 2,
Yeah.
and so those just
But like I think it still feels like a lot because a lot of our seasons are maybe like 15 episodes
Right.
or maybe 20 episodes, you know, so like
Right.
that number was so much higher back in the day. So it feels like they had 4 or 5 seasons when really, you know, it was just 2. So
Yeah, and then years ago went to go see David Cassidy, who was her son on the show,
Yep.
and stepson in real life. He was in Atlantic City doing a show. And it was so funny because there were just all these women in the audience with their husbands, but they were just like sitting there watching their crush,
yeah, I bet.
which was really funny.
That is funny.
So, all right. And then another musician whose birthday is today, Herb Alpert. And the Tijuana Brass, I mean, oh my gosh, famous for songs like The Spanish Flea.
Yep.
And so, you know, he is now multiple Grammy Awards, is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he is turning 89 years old.
Okay.
And so,
Well, happy birthday to you.
indeed. And then kind of sticking in with, I guess, kind of maybe Hollywood / music, Ewan McGregor.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, who basically started singing in Moulin Rouge.
Yep.
And so, but you probably know him better for either Train Spotting or Star Wars. Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, or Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, or Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
He also did a really good movie called Big Fish. Do you remember that movie?
Oh my gosh, oh yeah, I forgot he was in that.
Yeah.
And
It
so,
was a really good movie.
it was. And so there you go. So there we have some birthdays of celebrities, but if you are celebrating something that you think is celebrity worthy, please let us know. Maybe you have a film rolling out. Maybe you have an anniversary. Maybe it's your birthday. Please let us know. You can reach out to us on Instagram at On The Morning Show. You can also reach out to us on Facebook or even email hello@onthemorningshow.com.
And we are also actively taking sponsors, advertisers, and partners. So if you are interested in collaborating with us in any of those ways, that hello@onthemorningshow.com is going to be your best way to contact us.
And if you're doing something really cool out there in the community, let us know because you could be one of our guests.
Totally.
Yeah.
Or we might come out to you and film something.
That's true. We can come out
if
to
you're doing
you.
a cool
I mean,
event.
there's all different kinds of ways we can work this. I mean, I thought it was funny because we had the one guest who came on from Cul-de-sac who basically got here because
We tagged them on accident.
we tagged them on accident. And they're like, hey, we should be a part of this. So,
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this Monday. We hope you have a fantastic start to your week. I'm going to go have a fantastic start to my week. I'm going to go get a donut to start off my Monday. That's my plan. From Bosa downstairs at the Arizona Center. So,
Maybe I'll grab some coffee while you're there.
ooh, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to wrap it up so we can get to this donut action here. Keep it right here, though. We will be back with you Tuesday morning to continue your week of awesome.
And another word of the day.
Oh, boy.